Hey everybody, this is Eve West. Thank you for tuning in to my YouTube channel. This channel is dedicated to promoting a book I wrote. It's called Follow. It's an ebook. You can find it on Amazon.com. If you look at my other videos, many of my other videos on the channel, you will get a description of what Follow is about. But these last few, I would say, videos I've been doing correspond to gang stalking. Whenever you start to vibrate differently within the matrix because of a lot of the knowledge that you're acquiring, you begin to become a divergent where you don't really fit in within your, I guess, within the matrix environment. So, programming such as religion and stuff like that, you acquire so much knowledge, if you will, that the knowledge that you have and the research that you've done isn't really necessarily received well. It's not received well. And so you experience what we call restriction. You experience restriction within your environment, and people naturally start to demonize you because you're vibrating differently. You become a Luciferian in a way, or Lucifer, or Lucy, like in the movie Lucy, where she acquired a whole bunch of knowledge and she started to really have a lot of opposition within her environment. But Lucifer, or Lucy, just stands for light bearer, or bearer of light. And so that's why in the matrix construct, Lucifer is definitely demonized, because Lucifer actually decodes the matrix and actually dissolves the illusions that actually make up the matrix construct. So if you've been raised Christian and then you find and you were told that there's power in the name of Jesus, but when you find out his name wouldn't have been Jesus when he had supposedly walked the earth, because the letter J did not exist during that time, and you have information like this, people are not going to be well receiving of it. And so you're going to be kind of singled out as an other. And that happens not just in public, but also within your dwelling with family and friends and so forth. And so this is a little of a continuation from my last video, where, and I'm sorry for the footage, guys. I don't have my my iPhone. I have my iPhone, but I'm actually just taping off of my iPhone. So this is my Android, but I'm really trying to kind of, use my Android to tape on my iPhone some of these instances. But yeah. You start to just vibrate differently. You start to vibrate differently, and so you really try to find people who are like-minded, if you will, but that's very, very difficult. And so not social media, but really YouTube in particular has been very supportive, if you will, of finding people who have done a lot of the research that I've done, and have actually I guess found success, if you will, in doing that research, and using the research and the information to jumpstart their businesses and so forth. And so it's definitely very encouraging, and a lot of people have been encouraging, so I definitely appreciate that, and much love to you for that. And so I wanted to show you a video, if you will, because my taping that I did last night, dealt with restrictions in my home. And in talking about restrictions in my home, they're little petty things, if you will, that I'm told to do within my home, such as like when I cook on the stove. And so I would consider this to be a synchronicity, because right after I finished taping pretty much my video, if you will, for that, my dad, he actually went to the kitchen and started cooking during a time that I was told restricted from cooking. And so it was before 5 in the morning. It was at 4:40, I think, in the morning. And so on the tape, on the video before this one, you will see my mom saying that, it's not appropriate to be cooking pretty much before 5 o'clock in the morning. But here, my dad was cooking before 5. And, my dad, really, to be honest with you, everyone is bound by the matrix, but really it is my mother that's really used as the target more so than my dad is, at least right at this point. Everyone is bound by the matrix, so he might be used a little bit more later on, because I really, really do love my dad. I really do. He's a very, I guess you would say, mild-mannered man. And, a stark contrast to, the man that I knew when I was growing up. But my dad is a very sensible person, very sensible as he's gotten older, especially, he's definitely mellowed out a lot. And, my dad is wise. He's very wise. And so, I really, really, love my dad a lot. And oftentimes when you love people the most is when they are targeted, or when, you know, or the people that are used against you, if you will, because you have such a love and affinity for those particular people. So I just want to, you know, just kind of shed some light on, you know, what happened after I finished, right after I finished my taping last night, if you will, about not being able to use the stove. And there, you know, he was cooking on the stove. So let me go ahead and give you that audio. If I can actually turn my my phone around here. Cooking, and it is let's see, what time is this? Before, I think it's before 5. Yeah, it's 4:40, if you will. So let's go see, because like I said, gang stalking is designed to provoke you to anger, because you're told to do things, but then other people within the home actually do the things that you're told not to do. So let's see who's cooking in the kitchen. This is going to be interesting. My dad actually just cooked a hamburger, if you will. So let's go see what he has to say about that. Certain time, but I saw that you cook something. Is it okay for me to cook on the stove? Oh, yeah. Is that okay? Okay, I just wanted to make sure, because she was arguing with me the other night about, oh, you're cooking too late, if you will, and you know, you cook before 5 o'clock and stuff like that. So I was like, that's strange. Okay, so. Oh no, I'm not saying anything's wrong with that, you know, but what I'm saying, because she told me, so I was like, I was trying to wait, but I was like, well, Daddy can't cook something, so I guess it'd be alright to cook now, so I'll go ahead and do that. Okay. And so, you know, pretty much this validates that, you know, I was told not to cook at a certain time before 5 o'clock, really. She mentioned 5 in the morning being too early to cook breakfast. And so, you know, as you can see on my phone, that it was about 4:40 actually when I when I started taping, if you will. And I'll show it again so you can see the time. Like someone's cooking, and it is let's see, what time is this? Before, I think it's before 5. Yeah, it's 4:40. So it's 4:40, if you will. And so, you know, I'm being told, if you will, you know, hey, don't cook before this time, what have you. But clearly, you know, my dad's cooking during that time is not an issue. A lot of the restrictions that I get within the home, they don't have any rationale but to be restrictive and just mean, just downright mean and nasty. You know, I'm a very rational person, and so when somebody says something to me that, you know, makes sense, if you will, I'm just like all for it. I'm like, okay, that makes logical sense. But when you're doing something that makes no logical sense, and I start to inquire about what you're doing and interrogate you, and you don't really have anything to say, if you will, about it, that gives a legitimate reason of why you are doing these things to me, it just goes to show that you're really trying to be mean and nasty. So this is really a part 2 to the video that I uploaded about the various restrictions that go on within my home, and I'll be uploading some more of those as well, just to kind of paint a picture of a lot of the frequency of the incidences that are happening. So thanks guys for watching, and I will see you in my next gang stalking video.